I go to church, like build a community. I'd go to my church. I'd go to my kids' school. I wouldn't go and build on social media. Marketing is slow. Sales is fast. You market on social media. You sell in the DMs. When you can sell face to face, I believe you can do anything. Anything.
Welcome to MLM Nation, a podcast of leaders, by leaders, for leaders, hosted by Simon Chan. He's built a team of over 200,000 and is now a full-time MLM coach and trainer. So if you're ready to level up your business, join us now. Let's do this.
MLM Nation, this is Simon Chan. I'm fired up to bring our special guest. I met this lady couple of months ago at Rob Sperry's event in Utah. I was just blown away by her personality, by her heart, her energy. We have Traci Peterson. Hey, Traci, are you ready to make it happen?
I'm always ready to make it happen. I actually am really excited for this podcast today. I love you. I love your energy. And so, yes, I'm ready, born ready.
Traci Peterson was a certified family nurse practitioner before she got started in network marketing. Today, she's a full-time leader and a six-figure earner with a team of over 6,000 distributors and 50,000 customers. She credits her success to her ability to believe in people who don't believe in themselves. She's married and a mother of 3 kids and lives in Utah. So Traci, welcome to MLM Nation. I've given everyone a really quick bio, but take us through your background. What did you do? How did you become a nurse practitioner and got into network marketing?
Yeah, well, it's a super funny story. And I actually got started in the industry about 7 years ago in this profession. And I was working as a nurse practitioner and thought I had my life figured out. You know, I was like, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. And I was making, 6 figures in my nurse practitioner business. My husband was making great money in his. But there was just this little inkling like that there was something more. And I remember I worked in 3 different locations at the time, going from one job to the next, very linear income based. And I was eating lunch in my car. And I'm like, is this really it? Like, is this my life? Like, I'm making great income, but I'm eating lunch in my car, like hustling, going from thing to thing to thing to build somebody else's dream and not my own. And so thankfully, my husband's cousin shared this profession with me. She said, hey, I'm launching a new project and I would love your opinion on it. So hopped on a webinar, saw it. And I was like, and this is the truth, Simon. This is the truth, like totally unscripted. I remember watching the presentation and I'm like, if this girl is making $1,000 a month and she's presenting it, she was terrible. Like, and God bless her sweet soul. I don't even know who she is or if she's still in network marketing, but I was like, oh my gosh, if this girl can do this, like I certainly can do this. So I sat back in my chair, I folded my arms and I'm like, let's do this. And if I'm going to really, I don't just tote it. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it like full out. And yeah, we crushed it. And I have to give it all back to my leadership, my team, because we didn't know what we were doing. I never owned my own business before. But what I will tell you, Simon, is I was super coachable, like ridiculously coachable. And I had to set my ego and my degrees and who I thought I was sort of to the side and just be this sponge and take it all in and learn from the people who had the success that I wanted to see.
What do you mean by go all in? You said when you do something, you're all. I knew you were all in the first time we talked.
Yeah.
But what do you mean by all in?
If I'm going to do something, I think Yoda said, there is no try, there's only do. Like either do or do not, right? So there is no try. If you're trying something, you've already given yourself a way out. So I approached it as, listen, if I'm going to put my reputation on the line professionally, personally, I'm going to succeed. Like I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to keep learning until ... It's like until I have the success that I want, until I have the income I want, until I grow the movement that I want. And I think approaching anything in your life with that sort of mentality, you're guaranteed to succeed because you're never going to quit.
So you never done business before and definitely never done this profession. You say you didn't know what to do. So how can you reach out to people if you did? And I think everyone started this way, but I want to see your take on it. How can you go out and be confident when you quote unquote don't know what you're really doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you borrow people's confidence in the beginning because certainly you're not going to be confident when you're starting out with something new, right? So I liken it to riding a bike. So one of the reasons why we got started in this industry is because my husband and I wanted to be able to create an income that didn't rely on us getting up in the morning, going to a job. And my husband wanted to just be able to sit down and have breakfast with our daughter in the morning instead of running off to work. And we remember, he's like, I also want to teach our youngest child. So I have 3 kids. They're now 11, 9, and 6. But he wanted to teach our youngest child, Felicity, how to ride a bike because he had to see our other 2 learn to ride a bike on either Facebook or from a video when we were at our friend's house, and he wasn't there. And so I liken when somebody starts off in this industry as riding a bike and like a child riding a bike. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. And it's like with our child, we would never expect them to pick up a bike, immediately balance and just go. And so it's relying on the confidence of other people who have been there before you and knowing that there's somebody behind you with their hand on the seat. So my daughter, Felicity, had confidence that her dad was there, that he was holding onto the seat. So as she was stumbling and fumbling and balancing and falling over sometimes, like he still had a seat. Like, you're not going to die. You're not going to get hurt too bad, but I'm here. So I think people just need, your listeners, rely and count on that confidence of your leaders, of the systems that you have, and of other people's success stories. I think sometimes, especially when you get started in the industry, you think you have to have all of this success in order to be credible. And that is just not the case. That's why we have third-party validation. That's why you have a leadership mentor team. And that's why that's what I feel is sort of the secret sauce of our organization and our team is we truly are servant leaders. Like if you need a 3-way connect chat, if you need a 3-way phone call, if you need somebody to hop on with a prospect, like we're there because you can't do it alone. And you need to borrow the confidence of people who have more success than you, more experience than you do. And so, I followed the scripts. Whatever they told me to say, I said. And when they told me to get people on 3-way phone calls, I got people on 3-way phone calls. And Simon, we just can't be afraid to be a beginner. We can't be afraid to be a beginner. And if we are, that's our ego talking, and it's like, we have to give ourselves grace, give ourselves grace. And also that's not just for people getting started in the industry. That's people who have been in the industry for a while. Don't be afraid to be a beginner again. I believe every 3 years, about 5 years, you have to reinvent yourself. You have to reinvent yourself as a leader. You need to reinvent yourself online. That doesn't mean make up a new story. It's who are you now? What have you learned over the last 5 years? I sure as heck hope that you've evolved. And some of we have a saying that the principles stay the same, but the tactics change, right? So we have to evolve some of our tactics, even though the principles of prospecting, inviting, presenting, closing, passing, launching people, and promoting events, those never change. But some of the tactics do.
That's really awesome stuff there. There's so much. I took a lot of notes here. And I think you're right. The problem that most people don't have, they're waiting to have some success before they go out and do it. And just know that everyone out there, every leader we've had on ML Nation, including Traci, including myself, we never had success before we got success. And it's having that faith, that belief I love that analogy. Like it's like on the bike, right? Having the faith that your team will get there. And if you've done it once, you can do it again, right? And someone has done it, and I like what you said.
Exactly.
If that person can do it, I can do it. And reinventing yourself, and I think that just prevents you from being in entitled mode or management mode because you got to keep going. So let's talk about the principles stay the same, but the tactics change. I love that. So especially now we're in a high tech world, but the principle is still high touch.
Yeah.
It's still like relationships, right? There's no such thing that automatically people just make sales, right? Because I think some people, you have this funnel and just automatically make sales. But there's still got to be some type of human interaction because if it was automatic sales, then the companies wouldn't need us, right?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. How can you stay high touch in this world right now? Because I know you're really good online. What do you do?
Yeah, I go back to the data. I believe that high tech cannot replace high touch. I believe high tech is valuable for scaling, but in order to retain, you need to reach out and touch people. You need to learn how to build relationships. And, we're seeing a lot in the industry right now and in our own organization. We have these social sellers and these online builders coming in and they're crushing it, right? And I believe we have the beautiful hybrid that really marriages, it creates this beautiful marriage between teaching people how to build on social media, but also build relationships through events, through culture, through standards, and teaching people how to interact with people so that you can meld your cold market and your warm market and your hot market, right? So you just can be this selling machine without being salesy because it comes from a genuine place. So you're not like this walking billboard, but you have skill sets across the board. So that if there's a season in your life where social selling and more online building is going to benefit you, and I'm just thinking postpartum, having a baby, right? Like you want to stay close to that child and be close at home. Maybe, you can't attend events quite as frequently as you normally could. But we still believe in my organization. I mean, we have in-person events every single month and every single quarter. So we do offer an online option for people that need that. But honestly, Simon, the numbers don't lie. I mean, we have the highest retention, number 1 and number 2 spot in our company because we are an event attending culture. Like we are event attenders. We build deep relationships. We have a movement and a team that you want to raise your family around. You want to bring your kids around. You want to travel the world with them, or you can stay home with them too. I just think, who do you want to do life with? Like, who do you feel like any time away from your family are those the people that you want to surround yourself with? And that's, what we tried really, really hard to create. But the event culture is why and the high touch is why we have the highest retained team, number 1 and number 2 in the company. And that to me, I'm not here to make a flash in the pan. I'm here to create a legacy. I'm here to create a legacy, not just for my family, but to create legacy in other families. And that to me is the beautiful part of network marketing is residual income. It doesn't rely on you being there. It's about duplication and duplicating leaders and, doing life with people that you love. So.
Yeah, and Traci, for those who don't know, Traci works closely with Julia Thornhill, who we've had on the ML Nation podcast. I'll put the link to the show notes, who does these amazing events. And I like what you said, Traci, about the hybrid approach because it's so true. Like we've met twice, right? But I feel like I've known you so well because in that even the first time we met, talk about the hybrid approach, the bonding. Like online is good, especially nowadays. Like the text I sent you, where everything's short, but people don't remember anything, right? But I remember even, I probably watched how many thousands of videos that pop on my feed. I don't remember any of them. And I'm sorry, I see your stuff, but I don't remember any of your content. But I do remember us talking about your youngest son, talking about travel baseball, We talked about your daughter, volleyball.
Yep.
And I remember your kids. I remember your youngest son is like a daredevil on the ski slopes, right?
Yes.
And that's a bonding time, right? That's the way the
Yeah.
relationship was built. And I think
Yeah.
so you can meet someone online, but deep relationship building, I still think nowadays nothing can replace that bonding time face to face.
I agree. And that to me, like, yes, the social selling and the high tech, honestly, I feel like the future of the industry is a hybrid and a merge of both. I really do. Because one scales and the other retains.
Yeah.
Yep. And you just brought up a good point about network marketing is facts tell and stories sell. Right? So you've seen little things online, little short snippets, but what you remember is the stories, because it's in the stories where you find connection.
Yeah,
That's
I
why telling
remember
a
the story that you tell about your youngest son going crazy, barely know how to ski, and going down like 30 miles per hour, and you're scared as heck, and he's not scared. Right?
Yeah. And he was just like, oh, Mom, that was cool and really scary. And then he's just like sitting there, and I'm trying not to impose my beliefs on him or my fears for him on him. And he's like, can we do it again? I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid.
And then when you know the connection, feel like, well, you know, because your youngest is the same age as my youngest, and talk about travel days, they go all at the age like 7U, 8U, but it's just starting to get into it.
Yep.
You say you're good at believing in people. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like you believe in people until even if they give up until you believe. Relentless.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, I believe, Simon, that everybody has a divine gift. I truly do. I believe every single person has one. It's certain proclivities. It's certain things you've been blessed with or given. It's what people come to you for, what they ask you about. I have a whole divine gift guide because I believe everybody should know what their divine gift is, because then you can strengthen your strengths, right? And use that strength to bless the world and change the world. And so, yeah, my gift, and I found it. That's the cool, like, that's why I love network marketing so much. Man, like, if everybody really knew the power of network marketing for me as a high performing, educated woman coming into network marketing, I discovered my divine gift and I discovered my passion and my purpose here. Not in nursing school, not in the hospital, not in clinical practice. I found it here. And it was very early on in my business. It was probably 2 months in, and we were just having tons of momentum. And I'm sitting across from these women who are finally dreaming again. And that's a gift that network marketing gives, is it helps you to dream again. Because if you had all the time in the world and all the money in the world, what would you be doing? Who would you be with? What are you passionate about? And it just gives them a second to dream again. And I remember 2 months in saying, oh my gosh, like, I get to hear this and I get to turn right around and look them square in the eye and see the potential that they have in themselves before they see it on their own. I'm like, what a gift and what an honor. And it almost makes me emotional. Like, what a responsibility that network marketing cracks open that door to dream again and provides you a model to draw this out in people. And it makes me emotional because that was me. It like cracked me open. It opened my eyes and my world to personal development. And it's changed my life. And not only, did my husband retire after, 18 months, and we replaced my, 6-figure income in 5 months, but we've helped 100 people do the same thing. Like over 100 6-figure earners because of the model, because of our culture. And we're helping more people discover those divine gifts within themselves. And it's a gift. Like, I look at this profession as an absolute gift, and it changed my life. And that's why I do it today. And that's the thing is, I think when, you're a leader and you're making great money, it doesn't become about the success any longer. It doesn't become about the ranks. It's not about the money. It's about creating significance. It's about creating significance in the life of other people. And that's everything. Isn't that true? Like, it's so true.
Yeah. And what you said about dreams, I think we all dream. Everyone has a dream as a kid. And then, if you ask people, when did you stop dreaming? And it depends on like the background, the family, right? Some kids, sadly, they stop dreaming at 6 years old, 7 years old, for those who grew up in bad areas. But for most people, even if you grew up in a nice upper class, middle class neighborhood or upper class, by 12 or 13, you give up on your dreams. Yeah. And I think that's what we love about profession, because I got to dream again, right? We get to dream again and we have hope. And seeing people have that is the best feeling.
It is. And what I've just seen over the years after doing this industry now for almost 7 years is people lower their dreams to match their income levels. And then the income then determines the dream instead of the dream driving your income.
Yeah.
And that's why network marketing is amazing, because the effort you put in, the consistency you put in, you're going to get out what you put in. And so if you've got these big dreams, it's like, cool, then match that with your activity level and stay consistent. And I know you're the king of consistency. And, just don't lower your dreams to match your income level.
How important is consistency, since you brought it up?
Everything. It's literally everything. But one sort of caveat on, because I'm like, why aren't people consistent? And I know, again, I'm preaching to the master here, but it's like, typically, and I'll speak to women, typically women aren't consistent because when they mess up or when they fall short, they beat themselves up over it. And it is that negative inner voice. It's that negative self-talk. It's that self-criticism. Like, see, I told you, I knew you couldn't do it. I knew you couldn't be consistent. This is too hard. Right? The self-criticism. When I teach my team and the women and the men that I work with, is, to me, it's just a data point. It's just a data point. It's just a lesson. It's just a learning. And every failure, there's a lesson and a learning. So if you did something and you got this result, what did I learn from it? It's a lesson and a learning. Hey, if I wasn't consistent, what did I learn from it? Then I just make these micro adjustments. So I actually, especially because I work with women and we talk a lot about balance. Like, how do I balance all of the roles that I have as a woman, as an individual, as, in my work, as a wife, as a mom, as a daughter of God? Like, how am I balancing all of these good desires of my heart? And I say that imbalance is power. And it's almost like a mantra, like, imbalance is power. Failure is power. As long as you learn from it, so that you can make those micro adjustments. Like, as moms, it's like, okay, if I am really focusing in on my business and I'm driving, and I feel that little ping of like mom guilt, it's like, okay, that doesn't mean you fail, you suck, you can't do this business, you can't be a connected mother and be a successful entrepreneur. It's not one or the other. There's this big, beautiful, giant and in the middle. You can be a connected parent and a wildly successful entrepreneur, but you need to use each of those data points, each of those little, what you call failures, as micro learning. It's like, how can I make a micro adjustment based on that experience? And when you can make that little micro adjustment, then it's not a failure. It's a win. And then you can build on that. And we talked about this, like these little mini wins, right? And celebrating those little mini wins. But I'd love your thoughts. What about the self berating, the self criticizing when people do fall short? I think that's what gets people stuck and throws them off track.
Yeah, like I always say, focus on the activity, not the results. Right. And like we said, these are minor data points, and then you make these micro adjustments. I know you are super busy with mom of 3 kids, but you are super consistent. What do you do? I mean, what do you have any specific routines that help you stay consistent?
Oh man. I mean, yes, because I don't believe in motivation, but I believe in systems and habits. And I have just learned because I believe successful people do the basics better. So I've just learned to fall in love with the basics, the mundane. Because when I came into this industry, I was like, we're using the same slide deck every time. Like, don't we want to switch it up? Like, oh, I'm speaking to this audience. Shouldn't I switch it up? Oh, I'm like, we need to like add some flavor and some spice. And I'm like, hold on a minute. If you want to give yourself a job, then do that. But if you want to scale and you want to have time freedom and you want leverage, then you follow a simple system over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Just do what works and just do more of it. Ultimately, that's what it is. Do what works and then do more of it and then teach other people to do the same thing. So I am all about like systems and habits. And I believe how you do anything is how you do everything. There's some people out there who's like, that's not true. I disagree. I believe that kind of the way you show up in one area of your life most likely is the way you're going to show up in other areas of your life. And so my top three values, the first is health, the second is my family, and then the third is my mission. So I don't look at my network marketing business as a job or my work. It's my mission.
Hmm.
And when that is like, like in here. And that goes back to like discovering what your divine gift is. Like what special sauce do you bring to the table? So if I can connect and I can use my divine gift, which is seeing people's potential before they see it on their own, and I can anchor that in me as a part of my mission, like what I was called and put on this earth to do, which I believe is to take mental wellness to the entire world, then that doesn't drive me. It pulls me. It pulls me. It's like, it's part of my mission. It's part of me fulfilling like my God-given potential. It's me using those gifts to do good in the world and make a difference and leave a legacy and make an impact. And when you can drive it that deep, then that's gonna pull you and propel you. And so my whole point in bringing up the values is that my health is number one. And I work out every day. So I don't always lift weights, but I lift weights like 5 days a week. I did recover twice a week. So I just go on a walk in nature, because recovery is just as important as driving. And as a recovering perfectionist and as a high performing, hyper achieving woman, self-compassion is just as important as driving. And now I'm speaking, to a very specific audience on that, because a lot of people don't have the desire and don't have the drive. But there are a lot of people out there that have the desire and the drive. And what I found, Simon, is that sometimes that inner voice, that inner critic, that self-criticism is what they think is their superpower and what drives them, when really it's just self-bullying. And it's really going to end up being your Achilles heel, because you're going to burn out. You're going to get burned out. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And so I really, there has to be a balance. And I know people hate the word balance, but I believe in harmony. I believe that if you're honoring those three values, you can fill in your life with the rest, and you are going to feel fulfilled. You're going to feel quote unquote balanced. You're going to feel in alignment. You're going to feel in harmony, so that when the success comes, you're truly happy regardless, And yeah, so what helps me to stay consistent are my routines. So I get up, I work out every day. I do a lot of like my social media and my prospecting at night when my kids are asleep. So I send out messages in the evening time, like my prospecting messages in the evening time, once my kids are asleep. Cause that's when I'm going to either be scrolling on social media, going down the scroll hole until like 1 a.m, or I could be like building my business and prospecting. So I just make a choice and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be on my phone anyway. So I might as well use it for this. And then the beauty of that is then I wake up the next morning and I have an inbox full of like, what do I do to start my day? Sometimes it's that first step that's always the hardest. It's like, I need a prospect. I need an invite. Where do I begin? And it's like, if you fill your pipeline the night before with 25 genuine contacts, then you've got 15, most likely, waiting for you in the morning. And then you can like hit the ground running. So that's really been helpful. And I've never missed an event, Simon. I'm an event lover. Events changed my life. Going to my first event 3 weeks after I got started when I shouldn't have. I was pregnant, 2 little toddlers at home. We had just moved into our home, literally the week of our convention. But I was coachable and my leader said, you need to be there. If you're serious about this, you got to be there. And so 3 weeks in, and it almost makes me emotional because I remember exactly where I was sitting. And I remember looking at all these people. And I remember, like, I grew up in Utah, like the network marketing capital of the world, but I had no idea. I had no idea there was like an industry and a profession and no clue. One of my best friends was like a super top earner in a company and she like never pitched me on it. And I was like, what? Like, tell me about this awesome industry. Anyway, but I just remember like my eyes were open and I was like, oh, I am going to freaking do this. Like, I am going to do this. Like, I am on the winning team. I'm going to make a winning team. And it just casted vision. It gave me a chance to get away from my family for a hot minute, focus on myself. What are my dreams? What is the life I want to create? And I remember turning to my best friend, Mary Millward, who's still with me to this day. And I'm like, Mary, we're going to be up there one day. Like, we're going to be doing that. And in just a short amount of time, literally like 20 months later, we went from 5 ladies going to that event to over 5,000.
Wow.
And it was honestly because we went to an event and then we worked our faces off. Like, we worked our faces off. And I don't shy away from that. I think there's sort of this like anti-hustle culture. That's one of the proudest moments of my life. I learned the most about me and I learned the most about myself when I'm working my face off. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I really do.
This is my favorite question.
Can you tell how much I love it?
I know. You keep going on and on. We're going to wrap up soon, but this is my favorite question. What is your worst moment in this industry? To the point that maybe you even thought about quitting, but you did not quit. But that's why you are where you are today.
Yeah, I'll tell you a really down moment. A really down moment, but I also look at it as my greatest teacher. I really do. My most down moment was when we had some people in our organization leave. And I'll take ownership over my piece. I got disconnected. I thought I was connected, but I wasn't as connected as I thought I was because they were quote unquote leaders, right? And we kind of think, oh, and this leader, and this is like within my first 2 years in the business, right? So this is like my first time ever having somebody like really, really leave. And we think when they hit this certain level that it's more hands off. When again, learning experience, learn the lesson the hard way. That's your leaders, your true leaders. They need you the most, but they don't need you in the same way. They don't need you to help them do their income bringing activities. They need you to act as a consultant, as a peer, as a mentor. Sometimes leaders just need to vent. And so it's just creating space and making time for those top 12 people in your organization that really drive 80% of your sales, making sure that you're prioritizing that. At the time, so this is 2 years ago, at the time, that group who ended up leaving said, they said, we don't have a customer-centric system, that we're just about the business. We're just about recruiting. And I was like, those things that like hurt you, you're like, ouch, like that's not true. But then you're like, wait a minute. It wouldn't hurt me if there wasn't even just a sliver of truth to that. So I had to stop, get introspective, be honest with myself. And I think that's a good lesson and learning for everybody is just, if something hurts you, there probably is just a sliver of truth. So sit with it for a little bit and say, could it be perceived that way? Could I put myself in their shoes? Like, yeah, I could probably, because we were crushing, we were growing so fast. We had so much momentum, business partners left and right, like flooding and flocking to our team. And I was like, maybe. So then I almost made it a vendetta. Like, not I'm going to prove you wrong, but I'm kind of going to prove you wrong, right? Like a little chip on your shoulder is never a bad thing to like push you to take action. And so I was like, you don't think we're customer centric? Watch me. Like that, like, okay, I can maybe see how you could do that. Then I went and created this whole like sampling strategy and reaching out to VIPs. And so then I just went and created the system, and then I just watched the numbers, and I watched all of our people like earning these huge customer bonuses, like, and then I started really focusing on it and paying attention to it. And honestly, like it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because again, it's just a data point. As long as you're taking the lesson and the learning from it, it's only going to make you better and not bitter. I certainly could have had it make me bitter, but I just let it make me better, a better person, a better leader, a better systems creator, just a better individual.
Hey, you're amazing. We got to wrap up. I'm going to ask you these fire questions. Pick your brain, really quick questions. It could be one-word answers. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
What is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better.
What's one habit that's helped you become successful?
I never quit. Ever.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Don't let your circumstances define you.
What is your favorite prospecting tool? So say you have a qualified prospect, you send them a video, do you get on the phone with them? Do you do a Zoom? Do you meet face to face? What do you like to use?
If I meet them on social, I do a Zoom, but I love face to face. Get me in front of them. That's what I'd say. Conversation, always.
What's your favorite app on your phone that is not a social media app?
My favorite app? I'm trying to think of which one I open. Probably Calm. My Calm app. Or Canva. I open up Canva all the time.
Canva. What are 2 to 3 books you could recommend to ML Nation?
If you are new to the industry or just need a shot of belief in the industry, GoPro by Eric Worre. That book changed my life, helped me shift my perspective that this is not just an industry, but a profession. And it should be respected the same way. And then as a leader, a great book is Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Vaden. And I also love Essentialism. That's a really, really good book. Have you read that book, Simon?
Yes, it was so good that I read it 3 times earlier this year. It was very,
it's awesome. Yeah.
Really, yes, tons to apply from that book. Okay, finally, the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
Yes.
So imagine you had to start all over again and you knew no one. You didn't know your husband, didn't know your kids, but you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. What's the first thing you do or the first place you go to build a network marketing business from scratch?
Where would I go? Okay, and I have what don't I have?
You have 0 contacts.
0 contacts. Oh man, I get out and talk to people.
Wherever there's
people. I mean, I'd go to church. I go to church, like build a community. I'd go to my church. I'd go to my kids' school. I would go to a fitness class, go to a gym, anywhere where there's people and you can meet people. And that, yeah, I mean, I could go off on that. I wouldn't go and build on social media. Marketing is slow. Sales is fast. You market on social media, you sell in the DMs. But when you can sell face to face, I believe you can do anything. Anything. You can sell online, offline, anything. You can find a spouse. You can sell your kids to brush their teeth and go to bed when they don't want to. Anyway.
Any last words or advice? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
Oh my gosh. I would say just fall in love with the process. Enjoy all of the growth that this industry can bring and stay the course. Like, get really clear on who you are, like what your identity is, and then find that company and find that team and find that movement that aligns with the person that you want to be, the future self. And people can reach out to me on social media. So my Instagram is @tpete, and I run my own social. I'm in my own DMs. So send me a DM. I would love to connect, get to know you, see how I can best serve you. And yeah, this industry changed my life. So let it change you. Let it make you better.
MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today, you've been hanging out with Traci Peterson. So keep up the momentum. Head over to mlmnation.com, click on the podcast tab, and the show notes of this episode will be right there, or the nuggets of wisdom that Traci shared, and the links to her social media profile will be there. Definitely go and follow her. She is awesome, an amazing leader. Hey, in order to be successful in life, in business, and in network marketing, you must help others. So Traci, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We're grateful to you, and we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Thank you so much again, and God bless you. What's up, MLM Nation? Simon Chan with an amazing show from Traci. You know, it was so good. She asked me how long it was going to take, and I was like, hey, depending on how long it goes. And it went long and on, and I felt I could talk to her for another hour. You know, a couple of things to stand out is, number one, her energy, right? All leaders have great energy. Also, all leaders have a heart of serving. She's a serving, creating that legacy, believing in people, knowing there's no try, right? If you're going to try, you're not going to make it. You're not, because you're basically telling yourself it's okay to don't do it. Also, she talked about how, barring other people's success, most people, no one has any success when they first started network marketing. Now, maybe some leaders, they had previous experience before network marketing, but if you go back to their first company, it always been successful when they never had success. But it's selling the vision, having the belief, having that faith in their team, in the uplines. I love the bike analogy. And also very important is the, being coachable, right? And saying that if that person can do it, I can do it. Give yourself reasons why you can't. I think I love this episode because Traci is very, very successful from her previous job. There's a lot of people, and I was definitely one of them. When I first went there to my first event, and talk about events, she's never missed an event. You have to go to events. When I was at an event, I saw these people like, oh my God, I'm way smarter than that person. I can do it. And that was my turning point. San Diego's Convention Center, 2004. If that person can do it, I can do it, right? That's why you have to go to the events. That's where the relationships are. The belief is built. Also, the retention. I like what she talks about, like scaling, high tech is scaling, high touch is retention. And so true. Like with Traci, we had like an hour and a half lunch, and then we were in Hawaii together. We didn't even hang out that much in Hawaii, but I just remember from the lunch and all the stuff about her. This lady's incredible. Very quick success, a lot of fast success in very short amount of time. But, it's also up and downs. She had the people leave. And I love what she says, like, the key to consistency is to give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up and just see as a data point. This didn't work out. Like if you think, oh, I failed, I'm not good. then you're not going to do it anymore, right? But see, hey, this is a minor data point, and let's make those micro adjustments. And that's really the key to consistency. When I first did my podcast, wasn't great. Oh, what could be better? Make a little change, right? But you have to just get yourself out there. Get yourself out there, do it, and constantly make little tweaks. I was just teaching my son this, right? It's like the compound effect. He's doing push-ups, do one more today. And the next time you go to the gym, do one more. Within a week, you'll be doing 7 more. And within a month, you'll be so much stronger, right? It's the same thing. You do one extra day, do your calls, do your reach outs. And the first one is always hardest. I love what she said. Even for me today, the first reach out, the first thing I do, the first podcast, the first time I get on Zoom every day is the hardest. But once you're in a row, you get the momentum. It's very, very easy, right? And that's why one of the things I talk about, if you're creating social media content, you can create up 3 or 4 at a time. When you're sending out invites, do 10, 20 at a time. Don't just do one and then take a break, because then it's really hard. You lose that momentum. It's hard to get started again. Anyway, I can go on and on. I have tons of notes here. Don't quit. Never let your circumstance define you. I think that's so important, giving that up. Don't let your circumstance define you. Even if you've never had success for the last 10 years, that doesn't define who you are, right? Start new. Go reinvent yourself. That's another great message. Anyway, I can go on. Amazing leader, amazing show. So many nuggets. I can just recap alone to be 20 minutes about how to apply. But think this is the episode. You need to go back and think about what areas you need to take action on and do that. And also, please go to mlmnation.com. The show notes are right there. Follow Traci. Give her some social media love. Connect with her. I promise you, she will reply back to your messages. Go DM her. And also, please subscribe to us on the podcast. These take a lot of Traci's time, my time. It's all free, but hey, it's not free. Please subscribe. That's what I ask. Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. Subscribe and leave us a review on the podcast. That would mean a lot to Traci and I. And so that's what I have. Amazing show. Go take action what you learned. Again, this is something I'm going to go review my notes, because some of the stuff she shared, I realized there's some things I need to change. Make these, again, micro adjustments so I can be a better entrepreneur, so serve you better. Anyway, I'm Simon Chan. Go out there, and I'm loud and proud to be part of this amazing profession. Thanks again to Traci. Go make sure you take action on what you learned and have a positive impact on someone's life. God bless. Have an amazing day.